Superstitions in sports are nothing new. The Boston Red Sox had to wait 86 years to break the curse of the Bambino. Broadway Joe made a deal with the devil, and the Jets have never won anything since, or ever really. And don't get me started on the curse of the Billy Goat. That goat haunted the Chicago Cubs for 71 years until they finally broke the hex and won the World Series in 2016. One of the longest active curses belongs to our sport. Yeah, even soccer is susceptible to otherworldly hexes. Portuguese giants Benfica have been trapped in a hex for more than half a century. This story starts in the 1960s with famed Hungarian coach Béla Guttmann, who's been described as the Jose Mourinho of his generation. Guttmann took over at Benfica in 1959 and wasted no time making his mark. He sacked 20 senior players before promoting youngsters including Portuguese legend Eusebio. Real Madrid were dominating even back then, winning 5 consecutive European Cups before Guttmann's Benfica broke the streak. First, Benfica beat Barcelona 3-2 in 1961 before besting Los Blancos a year later in a heart-stopping 5-3 victory, twice coming from behind to win. Many felt Benfica would now cement their place as Europe's best. With the 2 trophies on his mind, Guttmann approached the club's board seeking to cash in on his success. The recently elected president, Antonio Carlos Cabral Feixas Vital, refused. It was then that Guttmann cursed Benfica. Not in 100 years from now will Benfica ever be European champion. And since that fateful day, Benfica have lost 8 European Cup finals. The first in 1963 at Wembley saw Benfica fall 2-1 to Milan. This was before substitutions were permitted and a nasty tackle seriously injured midfielder Mario Coluna and left Benfica hamstrung. 2 years later, they traveled to the San Siro to play Inter, only to suffer a 1-0 loss after goalkeeper Costa Pereira allowed a shot from Jair to tragically pass between his legs. Guttmann's prophecy was gaining momentum, and in 1968, Benfica had their 3rd chance to exercise his jinx. Their opponents, Man United, were no pushovers, with the likes of Sir Bobby Charlton and George Best in their squad. Locked at 1-1 in the dying minutes, Eusebio was denied twice, and the match went to extra time, where 3 goals in 7 minutes gave, you guessed it, United a 4-1 win in their first European title. The Águilas waited well over a decade before their next chance at success in European competition. But even Guttmann's tragic passing just 2 years before the 1983 UEFA Cup final could not stop his prophecy, as Benfica lost 2-1 on aggregate. In 1988, they lost on penalties to PSV Eindhoven before yet another chance arrived 2 years later against AC Milan. The Italian giants were a dangerous proposition at the time, with Hullet, Van Basten, Rijkaard, Maldini, and Baresi all wearing the red and black. The final was held in Vienna, Austria, Guttmann's final resting place. Eusebio, long retired, was so desperate to see Benfica win a cup that he paid a visit to his former mentor's grave to pray for forgiveness. Benfica still lost 1-0. As the millennium approached, the club's power in Europe diminished. In 2013, Benfica reached their 7th cup final of the post-Guttmann era. Facing Chelsea in the Europa League final, Branislav "Heartbreak" Ivanovic crushed Benfica's hopes once again with a goal in the final minute of injury time. Their 8th and most recent attempt, again in the Europa League, was against Sevilla in 2014. Coach Jorge Jesus sought to pour cold water on superstition in his pre-game press conference. Most of the players don't even know about these statistics. It's folklore, he said. Benfica lost 4-2 on penalties. Jesus was left searching for an answer. The players fought, but they lacked a bit of luck again. Captain Luisao said, once again in a final, the ball just didn't go in. Benfica will kick off their Champions League campaign against CSKA Moscow in the hopes of once again lifting European silverware. But with 8 failed finals already haunting the club, the pressure of expectation may just be too much.